anything out of your scope of practice. Don't accept gifts or tips. Do not get personally or sexually involved with residents or family members or friends. That is a part of professionalism. That is a part of being unethical and legally. You don't want to do that because you don't want to get in trouble. You have your license that is going to make you money. Keep it. Okay. All right. So let's talk about OBRA. This is a law that was passed by the federal government that includes the minimum standards for nursing assistant training, staff requirements, resident assessment instructions, and information on rights for the residents. So, backstory to this act was enacted because back in the day, maybe 30 or 40 years ago, we had nursing homes. The nursing homes had hundreds of patients in them with only one or two staff members. They didn't get changed. They were abused. They were dying and nothing was reported. They didn't have any activities. So a group of people came together and said, we need to start taking care of this. Our elderly don't deserve this. They are people too. So this OBRA was enacted, and now there are standards. A CNA, what is a CNA? What kind of training do they have? The staff requirements. How many people per CNA can you have? How many people, patients or residents per nurse can you have? How many people can you have in the whole nursing home? Resident assessment instructions. That's important. That's why you want to chart. And then rights of residents. They're going to get to know, your residents will know all of their rights. Okay. So, resident rights, we'll talk about that in a minute. Informed consent. Informed consent means that the resident knows everything that's going on, and if they, for procedures, for the skills and the procedures that you're going to actually be doing, they need to know and be aware and agree to it or not. Okay, they're making decisions on their own healthcare. If the residents aren't alert and oriented, meaning they know what's happening, they aren't confused, then if they are confused, then the family will help to make those decisions. Okay. Minimum standards, we'll talk about this in class, but for the federal government, the minimum standards for CNA training is 75 hours, and then you have to have 12 hours annually for in-service training. In-service training is really like your contact hours or your CEUs, but it's also run by the state. So the state of Florida has a little bit different. This is the minimum, and then the state of Florida has a little bit different standards. Okay. All right. So these are the legal rights that residents have. Then you can read those. These are also in your book. Residents do have the right to refuse. Okay. All right, let's talk about abuse. So abuse can happen with our elderly and our patients. Physical abuse, psychological abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, assault, battery, domestic violence from other um, spouses or family members, false imprisonment, involuntary seclusion, workplace violence. That means that you're being abused by staff or residents or visitors, sexual harassment, substance abuse. All of this stuff is in your book, and you can look at the keywords for these things, okay? Um, Neglect is the failure to provide a needed care that results in physical, mental, or emotional harm to a person. And then negligence is that, just that. You neglected to do something, you didn't follow through with it, and now the person has an injury because of it. Malpractice is injury to a person due to a professional misconduct through negligence, carelessness, or lack of skill. That's why you always do things that you know is in your scope of practice and you actually have knowledge of. Okay. You've all heard of people getting sued for malpractice. This is it. This is how they're getting sued. If you find suspicious injuries, those are signs of abuse. Um, these if they're not clean, if they are losing weight, if they are have lice, if they have ulcers or injuries everywhere, those are all signs of abuse and neglect. Okay. All right. Who can get abused or neglected? Elderly people, people that have physical disabilities, mental disabilities, developmental disabilities, communication issues. They are all might have this very commonly because they can't defend themselves. All right, so what are you going to be doing for them? You're going to protect them. You're going to notice what's happening and you're going to report it. As a CNA, you're going to be a mandatory reporter. So if you see something happening, say something, okay? You might report it to DCF. They have a adult report side. You can report it to your nurse or the supervisor in the hospital or nursing home. But you do need to report it. You are required to report it to someone. Okay. An ombudsman is a legal advocate for residents in long-term care facilities who help resolve disputes and settle conflicts. This is in the nursing home. So in a nursing home, or is this a legal representative for the resident? They can call this person through elder affairs in Florida, and they have a legal representative to help them fight through stuff. So they advocate for residents' rights. They appear in court with them. They educate. They work with investigators, and they give information to the public. So if you ever have a resident or a family member that is unaware and need legal representation, then you can talk to them about this. Residents councils, there is a council that happens that it is a meeting. It is a representative from the residents is actual a resident that lives there. It could be activity therapists and the DON of the nursing home, and the resident council will change things. They will say, we don't like lunch at 10 o'clock in the morning. Can you please make it 11? And they'll discuss it, and they might change it. It might be a possibility that they change it. But this gives the residents a say-so in their care overall, which I think is awesome. All right. All right. So confidentiality, legal and ethical principle of keeping information private. HIPAA is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. We all have heard of HIPAA. This is what this is. We basically just have to keep everything private. If it's something that you are not supposed to be looking at, don't look at it. Protective health information, that is the resident's name, address, telephone number, social security number, email addresses. Even if you have family members that say, "Hey, can you tell me a little bit about this? My cousin," just refer them to the nurse. Do not give them any information unless they have permission. And if you don't know if they have permission or not, just refer them to the nurse. Okay. All right. All right. Make sure that you're not on the phone. Make sure that you're not taking pictures in the hospital, in the nursing home, in the patient's room. Even if it's a selfie, I have seen pictures being taken, and guess what's in the background? And they're just taking a picture of themselves. It's an actual patient, and you just put the patient on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or something, and you thought it was just of you, but no, you are breaking the law because the resident is right behind you, or a slither of a name or something. All of that information is protected. Documentation, you want to document within a timely manner. And if an NA does not document legally, it was not done. So you cannot say, yes, I did all of this stuff. If it's not in the computer, then it's not done. And most jobs give you 12 to 24 hours to complete something. It's like you have to come back the next day to complete it. But I say do it before your shift is over. Okay. Okay. Let's see. We're almost done, y'all. 24-hour clock. This is the military time. We'll do this in class. So we'll talk about that. Minimum data set. Minimum data set is just the minimum that we have to chart. Um, and your facility will let you know what you absolutely have to chart, and it's reviewed every 3 months. These are the rules from OBRA that they have to review to the federal government. So they might get onto you about not charting this, not charting that. So please chart it. Incident reports. Incident reports are done in the hospital, in nursing homes. Incident reports doesn't mean that you're getting in trouble, but you're reporting if you walked in and found somebody on the floor. That's a fall. If there is equipment that was sharp and somebody walked through it or walked by it and now they're bleeding, that's the reports. Blood or bodily fluid exposures, injuries, sexual advances, requests outside of your scope of practice. Those are all reports that you're going to do. And depending on the facility, you might put it in a computer or you might write it down on paper. Okay. All right. And that is it for chapter 1. Watch this and I'm going to assign your quiz.